Well, hello, ladies and gentlemen. This is Eddie Marcus here again. And yes, it is November and it's chilly in Minnesota. And today I chose to go to my most used studio, the park. And I want to talk to you, ladies and gentlemen, because you know, most of you who have listened to me, my conversation is basically about God. I talk about politics and its relationship with God. And I find it no different doing that today. We had a young man, I can't think of his last name right now. I didn't want to remember his name. He went from Illinois to Wisconsin, rammed up to go and protect what was important to white people. And he went there and ended up killing some people who are not important. They are people. And you are probably wondering, what is God saying to America through this voice? And I'm here today to tell you. Well, I want you to know that God made all people. God made every shade. God made the straight and the gay, and whatever you want to call them. They are all made by God. God loves them all. And God is hoping that we take advantage of this opportunity to live in this life love, so that we can perhaps be used at a different time and for a different purpose. But right now, ladies and gentlemen, the truth of the matter is that we here in America is a reflection of people all over the world. God made us to love. We don't love. He made us to love. He made us innocent as babies to come into a world and gave us basic instructions that we violated, and we've been violating ever since. We were made to love. We were made to experience the joy of life, the freedom of life. We were made to enjoy God and living. Now, in order to do that, we have to recognize a God that is invisible. We have to recognize that as I'm looking out here right now, I can see sky, trees, grass. I can see the people over there walking. I can see this bench, camera, stuff like that. I can see that. But I do not see any other representation of God than this earth, these trees, the sky, me. That's all I see. Now, that's all you need to see. I didn't make me. I didn't make the earth. I didn't make the sky. I didn't make the tree. I didn't make any of this stuff, and none of you made the stuff. It's all given, free. And all of the things that we can do are given free. But you know, man came along and looked around, and there was no God, and there was no individual that you could put your hands on. So man came up with a way to become God. And how do you become God? By taking control over everybody. Everybody, if you can't love them to death by giving them so much love, you put fear in them. And so man decided that if God want to love you, man was going to cause you to fear man. You can be obedient to God for your love, or you can be obedient man to keep living. And so man grabbed a gun, and he decided that he would kill. Man would kill in order to be powerful. That's why we have the gun laws. That's why we have the Second Amendment. To kill, to kill, to kill, to kill, to kill. And what are we killing for? We're not killing for love, but we're killing for what we think is important. And what is that? Human beings against God think that property, stuff that they can take and are willing to kill, makes them God. You look at the Tower of Babel. Who constructed that? Whose idea was about that? Now it took all of the people, I'm sure, to build it, but whose idea? Who decided that it was going to be theirs? That's the one. Because I'm guaranteeing you that all those other people that built that tower were nothing but slaves. And that's what we have today in the world. Everything that is being built are being built by slaves. Yes, you are getting a paycheck, but that paycheck is minutely unimportant to the things that you have to live for. And it's the benefit of that. So what am I saying to slow things down? There's no difference between black people, white people, men and women, except that which is natural. Women have babies, men help them. But other than that, black men, white men are crooked. And some of them are good. Same across the board. Wherever people are, some are crooked and some are good. The ones that are good are the ones that's looking out for life and joy for everybody. The ones that are crooked are those that are willing to kill and destroy to have the benefit for the few. The benefit for the few. Let me say it again. Those who are killing, destroying, they do this for the benefit of the few. Now, when you find somebody who says, this is my land, you know they didn't make it. Somebody else was living on it, that was planted on it and living on it. Somebody else came along and said, let's be friends. And then trick you and take your land, kill you. Now, I'm not talking about white people. I'm talking about wherever that is done. Then you take another group of people and say, I want you to build this. I want you to do this. I want you to do that. Work for me, free, do everything. Be my slave. I'm not asking you. I'm making you be my slave. Now, what does that look like? That looks like somebody trying to be God. Trying to force somebody to be God. Taking your land. I'm forcing myself to be God. Whoever taking your land is forcing themselves to be God. Whoever's forcing you into slavery is forcing themselves to be God. And whoever you acquiesce and give your land to, you acknowledge as God. You think you just rather live over there in a slop house just to be living rather than assert God in your life. And so you allow somebody to victimize you. That's because you don't know God either. So you just as guilty. It doesn't sound right, but if you knew God, you wouldn't put up with it. And over here, it's the same old stuff. Get these here people. Build us here. America. Build America up. Now, let me ask you something, ladies and gentlemen. You know, those of you who know the truth, some of you just don't know anything. You don't have time. But if those of you who know the truth, know that the United States is a pretty good nation compared to the rest of the nations. They're pretty good. I'm not trying to take anything away from them, but America is corrupt just like every other nation is corrupt. They abuse people just like every other nation. So God is saying to us, we are living in a day and time in this century where God has made the world aware of the evil of the world, which George Floyd's murder, the wars, all of the... And God is saying, what are we going to do about it? The time is now for us to do something about it. Well, right now, we got people who are glorifying evil. I heard that the President of the United States, ex-President of the United States, congratulated a young man who was so concerned about property, not people, that he grabbed his gun and went to another town, another city, another state to protect property over people. And just to show you how important that was, he killed people to protect property. And when he was adjudicated, they released him because he was justified in his interest. Now, what does God say? I'm going to tell you something. You know that there are some nations that America would slap side the face anytime to get ready. And what nations are they? They are the weak nations. Any nation would do this. You jump on the weak nations, the nations that can't defend themselves. But how many nations are jumping on nations that can defend themselves? How many nations are jumping on Russia? They figure they got something to lose. How many nations are jumping on China? They figure they got something to lose. People are not even jumping on North Korea because they don't know. They might be threatened there also. But when it comes down to human beings, who protects human beings? A law? Well, we see now that the laws that man made were not written for all people. Those are God's laws that are written for all people. They call them 10 Commandments. Those are God's laws written for all people. Man says we're going to make some different laws. So they got laws called the Constitution, Bill of Rights, and so on and so forth. They were there to protect those that were considered important and people. Not everybody, just the ones who were willing to be on the side of the killers, the ones that were willing to be on the side of the abusers for a certain particular group. They are included. I don't care how righteous you are, you're excluded from evil. They don't have anything to do with you. America right now is in the middle of a war between evil and good. But good cannot beat evil. in order to beat evil, because evil is, is as bad as it can get. Good is just good. It helps in that state evil to advance. In order to beat evil, you got to be righteous. And who's willing to be righteous? Who's willing to be righteous? Let me give you the message, ladies and gentlemen. Black people, people of color, you say your lives matter. The evidence is that there are a lot of people who agree with you. There are a lot of people who agree with you, white people that agree with you. But at the same time, there are a lot of black people that disagree with you. There are a lot of black people that say black lives don't matter. You got women, black women, saying that black lives don't matter. You got black men say that black lives don't matter. But what they do, what they try to say is the law matters. And if the law does this to you, then it's okay. That's what these people give as their excuse. So what is it going to take for black people and white people to respect one another? Well, the plan was for each of them to engage themselves with the gifts that they brought to the earth. In other words, if a man came here with a gift about lighting up the world so we can see in the dark, that was for the world from God so they can see in the dark, not for somebody to try to make money off and exploit. If God says telegram, telephone, TV, anything, it's for the human race. For the human race can benefit. But man says, hell no, we can make money off that. You can be set aside as special. You can make billions off that. You can be sitting up on Pill Hill with billions. Gonna be letting people have communication. Okay, housing. God made all the stuff that houses are made out of, and all these people with skills to make sure that everybody got housing. Man says, hell no. We got to make money off that. We got to set aside the special ones. The special ones are those who are able to come over and concoct a situation where they can abuse and use people. You know, like get somebody to do something for you, and then you the boss, but they doing the work. That whole kind of stuff. And here we are today. With black people, this is the way this thing is written. And this is the way it's going to continue until you realize that you have an instrument that is as lethal as your enemy. I'm saying this to black men in America, black people in America, because black people in America is under siege. Black people in America is under siege. Black people in America are under siege. They have always been under siege. You got white people that are good, but their goodness will not eliminate this problem. So you got to be like Russia and the United States. So how can you be like Russia? United States got nuclear weapons. Russia got nuclear weapons. United States got nuclear weapons. China got nuclear weapons. We're not finna jump on those guys. Why? Because they jump back. All right. So here we are in America. What's the equalizer there? Well, as we saw the other day, we saw this man get his guns and go to anywhere. And anytime a little confusion started, you found a group of people who got their guns to come out on the streets. And nobody bothers them. They are legitimate. You see you see a black person doing some of these kind of stuff, they'll be shot down like I don't know what. But anyway, ladies and gentlemen, I'm not here to talk about that. I want to share with you the message that I have been given to share with the American people. This message is not given to black people against white people, or given to white people to advance their cause, or men or women. It is a message to bring about balance. White people, for the most part, especially that which represents power, does not care a thing about black people beyond their ability to use them. That's a natural fact. But what do white people really care about? You don't even have to guess this. What do they say is important? When this Rittenhouse, whatever his name is, went to Wisconsin, he didn't go to do anything for people. He went to protect what was important. What? Property. When white people decided that they didn't like the advancement that black people were doing, what did they do? They killed them, but they did more than just kill them. They destroyed property. They destroyed property. Property symbolized success. Property symbolized the movement of the people, their ability to do something, to construct something. So you destroy that. So if white people don't care about people, they will kill people. Black and white. These young people that got killed the other day that this gentleman just got off for killing were white. They weren't black, they were white. They were white people standing up because they figured there was an injustice done to black people. Oh, but they're destroying property. So let me go protect the property. So ladies and gentlemen, sisters and brothers, the message from heaven is this: calm down. Don't worry about black people, white people. Don't worry about those two different groups. Worry about what is righteous and what is evil. Righteous is to make sure that the system of America works for everybody in America. And right now it's not doing that. So America is failing America. Let me say it again. America is failing America. And if America wants to revive itself, America's going to have to do something. But America means you, the people. You, the people, are going to have to require change. Because the message of the future is this: if white people want to get guns and legitimize that Second Amendment and go around and every time they see a group of black people, they want to shoot them down because that's evil in them. That is evil in them. They want to murder them, shoot them down, kill them. If they want to do that, you can't stop them. They're going to do it. And for the most part, the law will exonerate them. So what will deter them? What will make them have a second thought? Well, let's look at it this way. What we would do as far as the second thought is just to make sure that once they've gone out to kill all of you, and as many as they've killed, make sure when they return back home, it's the same way it was when the South came back to the South. Everything was burned down. All that stuff that was so important was gone. So let them go and kill all the people of color, if God allows it. And let the others go and burn down all the property, if God allows it. And let the remaining living, stand up there and look at each other and see what fools they really are, trying to play God. Well, I'm not trying to set up white people against black people. I'm not trying to tell black people that a match will equal the gun. I'm just trying to tell you this: you gotta do something to protect yourself, and you better be righteous, because when you do righteous, there's no condemnation. When you do righteous, when you stand up for the righteousness of everybody on the face of the earth, they'll kill you for it. But God loves you. Even if you struck a match, God loves you. So ladies and gentlemen, I hope they won't prevent you from hearing this message. And if you hear this message, I believe that it will do some good. And I hope it will do the righteous good. That is, bring peace, prosperity, freedom, and joy to white people, black people, men, women, Americans, and people of the world, in the name of God. But it will never happen as long as man is trying to play God.